To determine the correct size of electrical metallic tubing or EM needed for 4 2/0 conductors and a ground wire, one must consult the National Electrical Code, specifically Chapter 9, Table 4. This table provides the allowable conduit fill based on the percentage of the conduit's cross-sectional area. The NEC specifies maximum conduit fill percentages to ensure adequate space for heat dissipation and to prevent damage to the conductors during installation. The allowable fill percentages are 40% for 3 or more conductors, 31% for 2 conductors, and 53% for 1 conductor. Since there are 4 current carrying conductors, the 40% fill rule applies. Firstly, determine the cross-sectional area of each 2/0 conductor. This information is typically found in Chapter 9, Table 5 of the NEC. The approximate area of a 2/0 conductor, depending on the insulation type, is around 0.3264 square inches for XHHW insulation. Secondly, calculate the total area of the 4 2/0 conductors. Multiply the cross-sectional area of one 2/0 conductor by 4. Therefore, 4 times 0.3264 square inches equals 1.3056 square inches. Thirdly, the ground wire must also be considered. The size of the ground wire depends on the size of the ungrounded conductors, as specified in NEC Table 250.122. For 2/0 conductors, a number 6 AWG copper ground wire is typically required. From Chapter 9, Table 5, the approximate area of a number 6 AWG solid copper conductor is 0.211 square inches. Fourthly, calculate the total area occupied by all conductors, including the ground wire. Add the total area of the 4 2/0 conductors to the area of the number 6 ground wire. The total area is 1.3056 square inches plus 0.211 square inches, which equals 1.3267 square inches. Fifthly, determine the required conduit size based on the total conductor area and the 40% fill rule. Chapter 9, Table 4 provides the internal area of different sizes of EMT conduit. Sixthly, check the table to find an EMT conduit size that has at least 1.3267 square inches of allowable fill area when using the 40% fill rule. A 1-inch EMT conduit has an internal area of 0.864 square inches, and 40% of that is 0.3456 square inches, which is insufficient. A 1 1/4 inch EMT conduit has an internal area of 1.5 square inches, and 40% of that is 0.6 square inches, which is insufficient. A 1 1/2 inch EMT conduit has an internal area of 2.36 square inches, and 40% of that is 0.8144 square inches, which is insufficient. A 2-inch EMT conduit has an internal area of 3.356 square inches, and 40% of that is 1.3424 square inches, which is sufficient. Therefore, a 2-inch EMT conduit would be suitable for 4 2/0 conductors and a number 6 ground wire. However, it is also important to consider directing factors for conductors in conduit if there are more than 3 current carrying conductors. NEC Section 310.15 addresses the directing of conductors based on the number of current carrying conductors in a raceway. If the conductors are derated, it may be necessary to increase the conductor size, which in turn would affect the required conduit size. The NEC also specifies requirements for conduit bending. Excessive bends in a conduit run can make it difficult to pull conductors through the conduit. NEC Section 344.26 limits the total number of bends in a conduit run between pull points to 360 degrees. When selecting the appropriate EMT conduit size, always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local electrical codes. These codes provide specific requirements and guidelines for electrical installations, ensuring safety and compliance. Additionally, it is recommended to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer to ensure that the installation meets all applicable requirements. In summary, the process involves determining the cross-sectional area of each conductor, calculating the total conductor area, considering the ground wire size, applying the 40% conduit fill rule, and consulting NEC tables to select the appropriate EMT conduit size. Always prioritize safety and compliance with electrical codes to ensure safe and reliable electrical installation. Remember to consult the specific tables and sections of the NEC for the most accurate and up-to-date information. Code requirements can change, so it is essential to use the latest edition. If the specific type of insulation used on the 2/0 conductors is known, refer to NEC Chapter 9, Table 5 for the exact dimensions. This table provides more precise conductor dimensions based on insulation type, which can affect the conduit fill calculation. Also, consider any future expansion or changes to the electrical system. It may be prudent to install a slightly larger conduit size to accommodate future needs, provided it does not violate conduit fill requirements. Furthermore, ensure that all conduit fittings and connectors are properly sized and installed according to manufacturer's instructions and NEC requirements. Proper installation of these components is critical for maintaining a secure and reliable electrical system. Always use appropriate tools and techniques when installing EMT conduit and conductors. Avoid damaging the conductors during installation, as this can compromise their insulation and create safety hazards. Inspect the conductors for any signs of damage before pulling them into the conduit. If any damage is found, replace the conductor to ensure the integrity of the electrical system. When making bends in EMT conduit, use a conduit bender that is specifically designed for EMT. This will help prevent kinks and other damage to the conduit, ensuring a smooth and unobstructed pathway for the conductors. Also, consider the environmental conditions in which the EMT conduit will be installed. If the conduit is exposed to corrosive environments such as saltwater or industrial chemicals, use EMT conduit that is specifically designed for those conditions. This will help prevent corrosion and extend the life of the conduit system. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations for supporting EMT conduit. Proper support is essential for preventing sagging and other damage to the conduit system. Use appropriate conduit hangers and straps to secure the conduit to the building structure. Additionally, consider the accessibility of the conduit system for future maintenance and repairs. Ensure that the conduit is installed in a location where it can be easily accessed if necessary. Avoid installing conduit in areas where it may be obstructed by other building components. Also, be aware of any potential sources of physical damage to the conduit system. Install the conduit in a location where it is protected from impact and other types of physical damage. If the conduit is installed in an area where it is likely to be damaged, consider using a heavy gauge conduit or providing additional protection. When pulling conductors into EMT conduit, use a pulling lubricant to reduce friction. This will make it easier to pull the conductors and prevent damage to the insulation. Apply the lubricant liberally to the conductors before pulling them into the conduit. Also, be careful not to exceed the maximum pulling tension for the conductors. Excessive pulling tension can damage the conductors and compromise their integrity. If you are pulling multiple conductors at the same time, use a pulling grip that is designed for multiple conductors. This will help distribute the pulling tension evenly and prevent damage to the conductors. After the conductors have been pulled into the conduit, inspect them carefully for any signs of damage. If any damage is found, replace the conductor to ensure the integrity of the electrical system. Finally, always test the completed electrical system to ensure that it is functioning properly and that all connections are secure. Use appropriate testing equipment to verify the voltage, current, and resistance of the circuit. If any problems are found, troubleshoot the system and make any necessary repairs. By following these guidelines and consulting the NEC, you can ensure that you select the appropriate EMT conduit size for your electrical installation and that the installation is safe and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. For additional support, consult with a licensed electrician or electrical inspector. They can provide expert advice and guidance on your specific electrical project. It's also recommended to document the conduit fill calculations and the basis for selecting the conduit size. This documentation can be helpful for future reference and for demonstrating compliance with electrical codes. Keep records of all materials used in the installation, including the conduit size, conductor size, and type of insulation. This information can be valuable for troubleshooting and maintenance purposes. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it's essential to take all necessary safety precautions. Always de-energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. The NEC is updated periodically, so it's important to stay informed of any changes to the code. Subscribe to industry publications and attend training courses to stay up to date on the latest electrical codes and regulations. Electrical safety is everyone's responsibility, and it's essential to follow all applicable codes and regulations to protect yourself and others from electrical hazards. Moreover, understanding the NEC is not just about compliance, it is also about ensuring the long-term reliability and safety of electrical systems. Properly sized and installed conduits protect conductors from physical damage, moisture, and other environmental factors, extending their lifespan and reducing the risk of electrical failures. In addition to conduit fill calculations, it is also crucial to consider the derriting of conductors due to ambient temperature. NEC Section 310.15b provides guidelines for derriting conductors based on the ambient temperature in which they are installed. If the ambient temperature is higher than the rated temperature of the conductors, the ampacity of the conductors must be reduced. This derriting can affect the required conduit size, as it may be necessary to use larger conductors to compensate for the reduced ampacity. Furthermore, consider the type of occupancy in which the electrical system is being installed. Different occupancies have different electrical requirements, and it is essential to comply with all applicable codes and regulations. For example, healthcare facilities have stricter electrical requirements than residential buildings. It's also important to consider the potential for future modifications to the electrical system. If it is likely that the electrical system will be modified in the future, it may be prudent to install a larger conduit size to accommodate future needs. This can save time and money in the long run, as it will avoid the need to replace the conduit system when modifications are made. When selecting EMT conduit, consider the quality of the material. Use EMT conduit that is manufactured to meet industry standards and is resistant to corrosion and other types of damage. Low-quality EMT conduit may be more susceptible to damage, which can compromise the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Also, consider the cost of the EMT conduit. While it is important to use high-quality materials, it is also important to stay within budget. Compare prices from different suppliers to find the best value. Remember that the cost of the EMT conduit is only one component of the total cost of the electrical installation. Consider the cost of all materials, labor, and other expenses when budgeting for the project. Finally, it's important to remember that electrical work is not a do-it-yourself project. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, hire a licensed electrician to do the job. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is essential to take all necessary safety precautions. A licensed electrician has the training, experience, and knowledge to perform electrical work safely and in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations.